Like, no, I don't know.
Hey guys, so it's the last interview of today. We are at the end of day 2, and I think I need a minute to recover. I feel from what I've just. That was good, right? That was good. All right. So I've just played Crystal Rift. You might have catch the live stream of it. Crystal Rift is a standing VR game that is genuinely terrifying. Give me a little bit of background. What is Crystal Rift?
So Crystal Rift is sort of like a retro dungeon crawler type game, sort of dungeon master, Eye of the Beholder type thing. That's where it's been inspired by. And when it was started, John Hibbins, who started the game, I came to it a little bit after he started it. He kind of loved those games and he wanted to turn it into a VR game. And I've been working on some VR stuff at the time, and he'd seen that and he was sort of saying, hey, do you want to get involved? And when I saw it, I was like, wow, this is kind of perfect for VR. And so I jumped on board, and we've been working on it for like a year and a half, 2 years since, and yeah, it's come together really well. Now we're here, and it's kind of the culmination of what we've done so far.
So the game's come a long way now. I saw it back at Rezzed,
Yeah.
where literally I walked through a corridor, a great shot in front of me, which terrified the life out of me. Some things have changed.
Yes.
So where have we come since Rezzed?
So we've been working on the game loads and loads and loads. We've built out, it's since gone into early access. So you can actually download it on Steam now and buy it and play it. And we've added loads and loads of levels to it now. We're into the kind of the second act of the game, the second third of the game in terms of what we're making. But in terms of what we're adding, you know, there's loads more content. The most significant of which is like a sword, monsters that come at you and you've got to fight them with the sword. Which you did really well.
Right. So the monsters
you killed
that
the skeleton
come,
really
the,
well.
the monsters that come at you,
Yeah.
I don't think I have an issue with.
Right.
It's the ghosty things that come from the ceiling.
Yeah.
That's not so fun.
Yeah, we've added loads of them as well. We find there's two types of people. There's the people who really love that stuff, and then the people who are not big fans of it, and they don't really like the horror stuff. Some people like it because it's really scary as well.
Yeah.
So we've actually added the option that if people don't like it at all, they just want to play the game, you can switch them off. All the scary stuff.
I can switch off the bookends in there.
Yeah.
All right. See,
All that stuff.
See, I don't think I could do that. I think I'd have to put my brave pants on,
Yeah.
put my big girl pants on, and get to play in it.
Yeah.
So this is in early access right now.
Yes.
So where are we in the sort of development cycle for this at the moment?
So we're like halfway through all the levels. And we're hoping to get like all the levels finished up in the next couple of months, and then add in that final last bits of content, the final last monsters, all those sort of things. And we're hoping basically to launch with all the different headsets that are coming out. Vive's out at the end of this year. We really love to launch for Vive. If we don't get Vive though, the Oculus Rift is coming out early next year, and we'll definitely be launching that, and we'll definitely be on the PlayStation VR headset as well.
So the last time I saw it on the Samsung Gear,
Yeah.
and I was really impressed by that. But this is really at home on the on the big boy helmets, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, for the game as well, at the time when we were making it, like the Gear was really, it's a really capable VR headset. But I think we've expanded it to such a way that it just outgrew what the Gear is capable of. And we'd love to do a Gear version. And I think we probably will do a Gear version. But it'll be after we've finished this version. And it'll be a slightly different game, just to kind of make sure it fits within the headset and it's the best experience you can get on that.
Yeah. So as far as story is concerned, I mean, I used to play a lot of dungeon crawlers that were just that, dungeon crawlers. But I feel from the notes there's a bit more to this one. Can you tell me anything about it?
Yeah. So what we're doing, the game itself called Crystal Rift, and that's because you've kind of stepped into this rift in space and entered this kind of dungeon. And as you go through, there are these notes and these voices that whisper to you that kind of reveal the story of what's going on. It starts out a little bit weird and a little bit strange, a little bit random on those notes, and you kind of got to piece together the clues. But by the end of that first act, you've kind of pieced together the entire story for that first act, and the idea of what this place is and where it's come from. And then going into the second act, we pick up a new thread. But the idea is that maybe, you know, as you step through the rift, there are other worlds between the rifts and other places and that kind of thing.
That's really cool, and that allows you, I suppose, to explore all kinds of different enemy design and all different kind of powers for the swords. Because the sword has a couple of different powers. It can do fireballs and Shield is my favorite. I like Shield can stay. I like Shield. Shield can. I'm happy. Shield is a good addition. In my favorite color. No, the inclusion of all the powers and things is a really nice, sort of almost different look at standard hack and slashy.
Yeah, because all those older games as well, they had like, you went around, you find a new piece of armor, you find a new sword and all that sort of stuff. But it's very sort of stat driven. So you have to keep track of your health and the enemy hit points and how much this sword does and that. Problem is in VR, all those sort of stats are really difficult to track. It's quite awkward to have that kind of heavy menu system in VR. So we've sort of not wanted to do that at all. So having everything more timing based, more kind of using these powers, in combination. So you put up a shield, you fire a fireball, you fire something that slows down the enemy. Once you got 2 or 3 enemies in there, it becomes quite challenging to kind of manage all that. And it's all to do with the timing and managing your space, rather than worrying about stats and numbers and things like that.
So it's sort of a more pure gameplay rather than it being sort of reliant on you knowing sort of numbers and what does this and what does that.
And that purely comes down to what works with VR and kind of how the game's evolved for that.
So then how do you scale from there? Is it in your puzzles with sort of the trapdoors and things?
Oh, well, we've added that's the other thing, we've added loads of different types of blocks. There's blocks that you kind of push around. There's lots of different, things like fireballs and trapdoors. There's other floors that fall away and reappear, and secret doors and lots of other things that are maybe more, you can add little triggers and little switches, and they can have timers on them, and they can fire other triggers and other things within the level editor. And that just allows you to make quite complicated puzzling areas, which you then throw monsters in, and it all becomes, again, like really challenging.
Yeah. No, it's really clever, actually, the balance that you've got between sort of puzzle and enemies showing up and scares and the darkness and the mist and things as well is very clever. You're constantly sort of surprising your player.
Yeah.
Is there anything coming soon that's going to surprise us a little bit? That's a little bit different maybe in Crystal Rift?
I think being like the first thing that kind of hopefully is new is just the experience of being in VR.
And it's the fact that it works really well being standing VR.
Yeah.
But do you find that it's the block-based movement that helps with that? Because standing VR is notorious for making you wobbly and sick. And
Yeah, definitely in terms of that as well. We've kind of, like standing is, because you're standing up in the game, it's just the most immersive thing is for your feet to be where the floor is. And with the Vive especially, it's exactly where the floor is. So, but when you're standing up, when you have that forward motion and left and right motion, there's still the risk that you're going to give people that awkward motion. You still see it. But what we do have is you've got options to change the comfort of that, and you can change the motion so it's not smooth, it's sort of staggered or even instant. And that's all in there in the menu, so you can kind of go through that and kind of cater the game to your own comfort level.
Which is really important, I think, with VR,
Yeah.
So, I mean, it looks gorgeous, but it's still got this sort of retro feel to it.
Yeah.
And the sound design is very clever. I do want to ask you a bit about the sound design.
Yeah.
How is the sound design that clever, that you've got those voices and things, but it's still, you still hear your footsteps very clear?
Yeah.
I was sure at one point I was hearing my own heartbeat, not my footsteps. But I fear that may have just been me. How careful have you been to keep the sound design sort of as pure but as terrifying as possible?
It's just a case of layering in different elements, and with recently we were adding in the music so that as you enter different areas, it can like subtly change into another track to maybe heighten the tension or the danger of it, and hopefully that's done in such a way that it's quite unnoticeable. You just sort of absorb it as you go.
Yeah, it's quite dynamic in that as you're moving, it moves with you.
Yeah.
Very clever.
And then the voices as well. We're just about to get a bunch of new ones recorded. So that's going to add hopefully the tension, but also try and thread in again a few more story-like elements to just kind of add to that atmosphere of what's going on.
Yeah, brilliant. So I mean, on the topic of sound design, before I let you go.
Okay.
Have you got a favourite sound effect from the game so far? Is there a sort of sound that you have in there that sort of speaks to you and summarises the game?
I think having the fireballs, when the fireballs, because you're in VR and you can look around, when you hear one happening sort of over here and you sort of look, and it either flies by your face or just, you look just to see it hitting your face. I mean, that's kind of really effective. It's really effective to have that audio coming from there, look, and then get killed.
Sorry, what does the fireball sound like?
I don't like. No, I don't know. That's an alpha fireball. It makes a fireball noise.
It makes a fireball noise.
Not that noise I made.
Not that noise.
Not that one.
That was possibly the noise the thing from the ceiling was making. I mean,
That's what it was. Yeah.
No.
No, I shouldn't try and do that.
That thing can go die in a fire. Like, really, no.
Good.
No. That is good, though. That's good.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for showing me the game and for giving me a bit of time to do the interview. So, where can we find out more about Crystal Rift if we do want to find it?
So crystalrift.com, that's the website. It links directly to the Steam page. You can play the early access now. If you've got a Vive headset, not many people have, but you can play it on Vive, you can play it on DK2, you can play it in non-VR as well. So if you don't have a VR headset, you can still play it. The level editor as well, so people can make their own levels.
Excellent news, excellent news. And are you guys keeping tabs on what people are building?
We've kind of, when people started showing us their like what they've been doing, it was kind of surprising because they're doing stuff with it that we never really expected.
There you go, yeah.
And we kind of use that in some of the later level designs. So yeah, really good.
Excellent. All right, well, thank you for showing me Crystal Rift today. I'm sorry I almost wet myself. The game is terrifying, but it's brilliant. It's brilliant that it's terrifying, and I will definitely put my big girl pants on and come and play a bit more of it later on. Thank you guys. I've had a really successful second day. Make sure you check out Crystal Rift, especially if you are braver than I am, and I will see you again tomorrow.